All right, welcome back. Today we're going to take an incredible journey deep inside the most complex machine on Earth, the human body. We're going to break down how it all works, from the giant systems all the way down to the tiny microscopic code that makes you, well, you.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about that? Right this second, your body is breathing, it's digesting your last meal, it's fighting off germs, all while you're just sitting here. How in the world does it juggle all of that at once? Let's find out.
Just to get a sense of the scale we're dealing with, think about this. Over your lifetime, your heart will beat about 2.5 billion times. And here's one that'll really bake your noodle. 90% of the cells in your body aren't even technically human. They're bacteria. And we've got tons of amazing facts just like that coming up.
But it's not just about these huge, crazy numbers. It's really all about coordination. I mean, look at this gymnast. Everything has to work in perfect harmony. And that's exactly what's happening inside you. It's a beautifully coordinated performance. Okay, let's dive into this. So, who's running the show? Who's the director of this performance? Well, the first level of organization we see are the body systems. You can think of them as specialized teams, and each one is responsible for a huge part of the operation. Here we can see a few of those heavy hitters. You've got the nervous system, that's kind of like the body's internet, its communication network. You've got the respiratory system, handling all the oxygen stuff, and the digestive system processing fuel. But here's the most important part. None of them work alone. They are all talking to each other all the time.
So what are these big systems made of? Organs. And while scientists kind of like to debate the exact count, a really common estimate puts the number at 78. Every single one, from your brain to your skin, is like a specialized tool, and they're all grouped together to form the systems we just saw. Okay, for this next part, we're going to zoom in. I mean, way in. We've seen the big systems and the organs they're made of. Now let's look past all that to the microscopic building blocks that create everything.
This right here is basically our roadmap. We started big picture with the systems, now we're zooming into the organs, then the tissues that make up the organs, and finally, down to the most basic unit of it all, the cell.
See, an organ isn't just one big blob of the same stuff. Not at all. Take the stomach, for example. It's built in layers of different tissues. You've got muscle tissue to churn food, and then you've got epithelial tissue that lines it and protects it. Every organ is this incredible multi-layered tool.
And what's really amazing is that every single one of your organs is built from some combination of just these 4 basic types of tissue. That's it. Each one has a super clear job, from holding things together to sending critical messages across the body.
And at the absolute foundation of it all, cells. We've got over 200 different kinds of them in our bodies, and their design is just genius. You've got these long, branching nerve cells, perfect for sending messages, and these little disc-shaped red blood cells, perfect for zipping through blood vessels carrying oxygen. Their shape perfectly matches their job.
Okay, you ready to go deeper? Because now we're going to venture inside one of those tiny cells. We're going to see the bustling, microscopic factory that's at work in there. Get this. Every single one of your roughly 10 trillion cells is its own little world. It's a self-contained living unit with a command center called the nucleus and all this other specialized machinery called organelles. Each little piece has a specific job to do to keep the factory running smoothly.
And this is a perfect example of that factory in action, making something essential like a protein. So first, the instructions get sent out from the nucleus, that's the head office. Then, the ribosomes act like the factory's assembly line, building the protein based on those instructions. Next, the Golgi body is like the shipping department. It packages and labels the protein. And finally, little vesicles act like delivery trucks, shipping the finished protein exactly where it needs to go. It's just incredible.
But wait a minute, where do those all-important instructions in the nucleus even come from? Well, that brings us to the blueprint of life itself.
It all comes from DNA. The best way to think about it is like a massive, massive recipe book, and it has every single instruction needed to build and run your entire body. Now, to save space, this book is coiled up super, super tightly into these things we call chromosomes.
So what is this stuff exactly? Well, DNA is shaped kind of like a twisted ladder. The rungs of the ladder are made from pairs of 4 chemicals. And it's the specific order, the sequence of those chemicals that forms the precise code the cell reads to get its instructions.
Now, okay, brace yourself for this fact. If you could take the DNA from the nucleus of just one of your cells and stretch it all the way out, it would be 6 feet long. That is 6 feet of code
packed into a space that is completely invisible to the naked eye. Wild.
And how many individual letters are in that 6-foot-long code? 3 billion. 3 billion chemical base pairs in the instruction manual for a single human being. It's just staggering to think about.
So how does this single master code get copied and sent out to build and maintain a body that's made of trillions of cells? Well, the answer is in how cells divide.
The first way is the process called mitosis. You can think of this as the body's copy and paste function. It's for growth and repair. A cell makes a perfect copy of all 3 billion letters of its DNA and then splits into 2 new cells that are exact clones of the original. This is happening in your body millions of times a day.
But for reproduction, the body uses a totally different process called meiosis. And its goal isn't to make clones, it's to create variety. It actually shuffles the DNA around and creates 4 unique sperm or egg cells, and each one has only half the genetic information.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Mitosis is for growth and repair. It makes 2 identical cells with a full set of chromosomes. Meiosis is for reproduction. It makes 4 unique cells with half the set. One process builds you, and the other allows you to create the next generation.
So when you think about it, from these huge body systems all the way down to a 3 billion letter code, the human body is truly a universe of complexity, all working together. It really makes you wonder, with a design this incredible, what on earth will it be capable of next?